Hey, welcome to a new STUFR, and we are doing a St. Nicholas or Sinterklaas special this week here on the channel, explaining you all about the Dutch tradition. And today in this video, we'll tell you all about the history of St. Nicholas.
I think Dennis is very happy about that because he loves St. Nicholas.
It's my favorite Dutch tradition here, and I love the whole celebration. So let's just dive into the story and the background of St. Nicholas. And since you are German, you didn't grow up with the whole St. Nicholas story, so this might even teach you some of the history behind the whole story. So check out the other videos on the St. Nicholas Sinterklaas week as well on our channel. And if you'd like to know more about the Netherlands, then check out our Living in the Netherlands series as well, where Tim tells his experience from living here as a German.
Yeah, definitely worth checking out.
Very interesting. So St. Nicholas doesn't come from the Netherlands, and he doesn't come from Spain where he lives nowadays. No, he originally comes from Turkey. He was the Bishop of Myra, and yes, and his body, when he died, his body was moved to Italy actually, and that was in the year 342 after Christ.
And Sinterklaas also did many good deeds, and that's why he was declared a saint. And there are so many stories about why he was declared a saint. But a really nice story we found was that he gave 3 sisters so much money that they could marry and wouldn't end up in prostitution. How nice of him.
That's very nice. It is.
Yeah.
Because,
There were different times back then, of course.
I don't think a lot of people like ending up in prostitution.
I don't think so.
Some people do. That's okay. Yeah. And there was also the thing with the pepernoten, huh? The pepernuts. Because he threw away a lot of money, not threw away as in but he threw it out to the people, and that's where the throwing of the pepernoten comes from. Because when
they're like a substitute for the coins.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're also yummy.
And they're super yummy. So check out the video on where we also eat these candy. Tim is already eating, but we made a video as well in this St. Nicholas week where we eat and show you all the traditional candy that comes with the whole celebration. Because there's so much candy. This is not the only thing. So check out that video, you'll love it. St. Nicholas doesn't come alone. He comes with a lot of helpers, and the helpers are originally called Black Peets. Nowadays they are referred to as Peets because of the whole racism issue. We'll dive into that in another video. But at the beginning of the stories there wasn't any helpers for St. Nicholas. But then later on, around the year 1850, they were added to the story.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's quite recent. I thought it was
rather
like
recent.
this, like always.
No, it wasn't. And then they were originally, this was one of the good deeds that St. Nicholas did, because he freed a few slaves from Africa. And then they became his helpers because they were so happy that he saved them that they stayed loyal to him. So out of free will, they became his helpers. So that's what I found, at least on when I researched this video. That was the origin story of the Black Peets.
Yeah, but then it's also still quite problematic because they came from slavery, and
the origin
and it's
story
not that
is
old. I thought it was older.
Yeah.
So why would you add something like this?
No, but they weren't his slaves. They were his helpers, and because he freed them, and they became, out of free will, became their his helpers. But yeah, that's the origin story to the Black Peets, or nowadays Peets. And the story changed, and what the story changed into, we will talk about it in the other video.
The Peets also come with a very well-known attribute, which is like a cane made out of twigs and branches, and it's called roe in Dutch. And originally they used them to clean the chimneys, and they brought them in their bags instead of presents. And but later kids were made afraid out of them because they were told if they were not naughty and wouldn't behave, and they would have to go into the bag with the roe.
Yeah, with the roe and into the bag, and they were taken back to Spain where St. Nicholas lives.
Yeah.
And also what is funny, because we will get to that later on, because in the weeks that St. Nicholas is in the country, kids are allowed to put out their shoe, and they will once a week, and they will receive some candy like pepernoten or maybe a little present in the shoe.
Yeah.
But if the next morning you would find the roux in your shoe, then that would be a signal or a sign that you had been naughty that year.
Okay.
So the good kids would get like candy, and the other ones would get the roux, like the bunch of twigs and branches.
Yeah. I even know the story differently or more harsh. I never heard about the having to go back to Spain in the bag, but always like being afraid of the roux itself, because I would get
spanked with it. I don't think that's not the story that I know, at least.
No, it was a different one from Germany.
Yeah. And actually,
it's also a lot less known and not that extensive.
And the whole roux thing hasn't been in the recent stories, in the recent traditions anymore. I think that the last roux was seen like 20 years ago or something. But when I grew up, people would still say, "Oh, if you are naughty, then you have to go to Spain in the bag, in Saint Nicholas's bag." Saint Nicholas always arrives in the steamboat. Are you still enjoying the pepernoten? And that also was added more recently. But it is quite funny why they introduced that as the reason of the way of transport, was because he also used to save a lot of seamen or fishermen in the really old stories. And that is also why a lot of harbor cities in the country, and also in Belgium, they have Saint Nicholas churches. The church which are called Saint Nicholas Church.
So he's also a saint of the
seamen,
yeah,
the sailors, seamen.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, you get what I mean. Yeah. So that's also why he comes in a steamboat.
So the very first celebrations actually already started in the 1300s, in the Middle Ages, and it was especially for poor children, so they would get some candy, and they were also told to leave shoes in the church on the 5th of December, so the next day they would get a shoe filled with candy and fruits.
Yeah, which is
at least once a year.
Yeah, exactly.
That's nice.
From the year 1500 until 1900, there would always be the St. Nicholas markets, and then after the 1900s, the more traditional arrival of St. Nicholas started. Like he comes with the boat and comes into the village, and like the little processions and everything. But before that, there were the markets, and which is also a funny story, because on those markets they would sell the speculoos poppen or the speculaas poppen, which are cookies a little bit bigger, kind of like the same ingredients as pepernoten, but they were in the shape of a boy or a girl. But the boys that in that age or young men, they would buy a man doll cookie, would give it to a woman or a girl that they liked, and if the girl accepted, then that would be a way of saying, "Oh, I would like to be in a relationship with you." That's quite funny, wasn't it? Yeah. There was this whole,
didn't know that.
Especially before the 1900s, there was this whole love and marriage connection thing tied in with the St. Nicholas celebration.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
So you even learned something as well.
I learned something as well. And then, after World War II, grown-ups would get involved in the whole celebrations as well. Because before that, it was more for the younger kids and the young adults. But then, after World War II, the adults also thought, we want to have fun as well. So they were included in the celebrations.
We had enough bad times, so we need some happy times as well.
Yeah, so they did the whole gift nights, like pakjesavond, on December 5th. And, well, we'll talk about the whole traditions, how the pakjesavond or the gift night is celebrated, which is a little bit like Christmas morning in some of the countries where they have all the presents for Christmas. We don't have the presents for Christmas. In the Netherlands, we have them for St. Nicholas on December 5th. And how that whole tradition looks, what it looks like and how we celebrate it will be in a video where we share our traditions from now. So this is just the history, so check out the video of how we celebrate St. Nicholas now. Check out.
There are also other countries that celebrate Saint Nicholas, like Belgium and parts of Germany, but they mostly only celebrate the day he died, and that's the 6th of December. But in the Netherlands, they celebrate on the day before or the evening before, the 5th of December, and they actually start the whole like Sinterklaas time already 3 weeks before that, when he officially arrives in one of the bigger cities in the Netherlands. And when he officially comes by steamboat, and it's also a big event happening even on TV.
Yeah, it's huge on TV, and he arrives in all major cities. But there is always one big city that they choose where the main event is being televised.
So like a super official where even like the king and queen go to, maybe?
No, the king and queen are not always there, I think. I don't know. No, not really, I think. But there's the mayor of the city and everything. It's quite official, and it's a huge celebration. But they celebrate it in the town near us as well. He arrives there by boat. It's not a big steamboat, but it's a little boat. And all the kids are there. They sing songs. It's super nice.
Yeah. But I think even not on the 5th of December, but also in the 3 weeks before, children can already put out their shoes multiple times.
Yeah, but we'll talk about that in the video about how we celebrate it now. Otherwise we keep mingling, mixing all the stories.
But it says here. I know. But I have to say that.
Yeah, I know. It says on the paper. We have a little paper, otherwise we mix it all up.
It's tiny.
Tiny paper. So St. Nicholas, he comes from Spain. That's what the story tells these days. And he stays there the whole year. And then for these 3 weeks in November and beginning of December, he comes to the Netherlands.
I think it's a lot nicer to stay in Spain instead of like the North Pole, like
like Santa Claus.
Like Santa Claus.
Yeah, true.
I think this is a better life.
But actually, we normally people try to like find out why does he come from Spain, because he originally comes from Turkey.
Yeah,
his body is buried in Italy. So yeah,
I never understood that part.
No, and then I googled and I did some research, and why they think he nowadays comes from Spain is because apparently a lot of salesmen and everything go to Spain to get some merchandise, especially like the oranges, which come from Spain. A lot of the oranges come from Spain these days. But that's one of the things that is handed out to the kids as well, with the candy, but also oranges. And they are called apples from orange, which is orange is the color of the Netherlands, the national color, the color of the royal house. And so that's why they connected the whole two, and they call them apples.
Also part of the name of the royal house even.
Yeah. And then, so that's probably why he comes from Spain these days, to get the oranges, and they bring the oranges, and the kids get oranges, candy, and gifts, and everything. So yeah, that's probably it. I think that's all for our history lesson on where does St. Nicholas come from? What is the origin story of the Black Peats, or what they call Peats these days? And by the way,
I actually learned a lot.
What do you think? Yeah, I also learned some things. I knew most of them, but what do you think of our sweaters? Aren't they awesome? We have our own St. Nicholas sweaters. We made them ourselves, actually. Well, we ordered them.
You
designed it,
designed the logo and let it print on a red sweater.
Had it printed. Yeah. Anyway, so check out the other videos on St. Nicholas celebration, and we will be eating a lot of the candy. Well, this is the pepernoten, and which are normally thrown out towards the kids by the Black Peats. So we will be throwing a few at you at the end of this video, and give it a thumbs up. And leave a comment if you've ever heard about these traditions, or if you've even celebrated them. And yeah, And
if you don't, what do you think about them?
Yeah, especially check out the video on how we celebrate it these days, because you'll learn much more about why I love this tradition and why you fell in love with it as well. Didn't you?
Yeah, not that crazy, of course. But it's also because I didn't grow up with it.
No, and also because I work in a school, so I get to celebrate it so intensely with the kids.
Yeah, you always see it through the eyes of children. That's always nice.
And I'm like a big child anyway. So here we go. The paper notes are coming your way, and we'll see you in another video. Bye bye. Well, anyway, we tried.
Now they are all over the floor.
Can you clean them?
No.
Do you want to see us stuff more food in our mouths? Then subscribe to our channel or watch another STUFR.